Do you hear that? We gotta help that person. Don't be deceived. Shit, watch out!
Backrooms The Escape is yet another fantastic video by GibbsonTV, continuing on the last video, Backrooms Lockdown, unveiling more information about the sinister nature of the Async organization. Hi folks, I'm R, and welcome to the video. Make sure to send me your video suggestions on Twitter, because you never know, I might cover them in the upcoming videos. The story continues where it was left off at the last video when one of the explorers wearing hazmat suits managed to go through the closing gate back to the Async facilities. Unfortunately for him, his narrow escape was short-lived as the true horror lies within the closed doors of the Async facility. Ivan Beck, the vice president of the organization, picked up a handgun with a suppressor and proceeded to shoot the explorer down, killing him instantly. So the secrets he learned about through the visions he saw after witnessing one of his colleagues being left to rot in the backrooms would die with him. As I explained in the last video, it seems that Ivan Beck is using the vast backrooms complex to conduct an experiment, analyzing and researching the effects of an unknown disease festering within the backrooms, trapping his employees who witnessed this horrid action. The intentions of Beck are unclear to why he wants to research this disease, but some possibilities are developing some sort of biological weapon, a disease that seems to be incurable. Ivan orders some of his other employees to get rid of the corpse of the man he just shot, saying that they have work to do, depicting how corrupt the organization is, something that he doesn't seem to shy away from showing. Maybe getting shot or suffering a fate of being trapped in the backrooms is a known fact by the employees, hence why the explorers decided to run back to the base as soon as they saw the corpse spreading the disease. This is also depicted in an informational blue text that whoever encounters victims of this mysterious disease ultimately has to isolate themselves and not to seek help after experiencing certain side effects, which at least one of the explorers did. On the other side of the story, with the last two remaining explorers stranded inside the backrooms, they decide to find a way out, trying to understand why the gate got shut down. They seem confused to why the gate shut down, assuming it's part of a protocol after they found some traces of the mold, the unknown disease that grows in the backrooms.
So, do you know what happened back there? There must have been traces of mold found in the facility, leading to a lockdown of the threshold. It's most likely all over us, but as long as we don't take off these suits, we'll be fine.
This explains that these two explorers seemingly didn't experience the same thing that the other explorer did who managed to get into the facilities. They seem to have not had any visions, which explains why the other explorer instructed them to head back to the gate, with them just following his orders and not knowing why they should head back. This in a way confirms that the visions the other explorers saw unveiled to them the sinister plans Async has for them. The remaining explorers speculate that as long as they have their hazmat suits on, they should be safe from the mold as it rapidly grows and spreads everywhere. But as long as their suits are not compromised, they should be fine. This contradicts with the other explorer who saw visions, a side effect of the mold, revealing the true intentions of Async, who had his suit on, which didn't seem to have any entry points. Therefore, the mold could even possibly be contracted in a way we cannot understand, maybe even through sight or telepathy. The mold, other than causing the deterioration of organic matter such as human body, also seems to give one visions of the past, future, and telepathy. Hence why Ivan Beck doesn't want to let anyone encountering the mold get back to the facilities. As the explorers continue their journey, they hear a little girl crying. One of them suggests helping the person out, but the other knows too well that it's just a trick played by one of the mysterious entities within Backrooms.
Do you hear that? We gotta help that person. Don't be deceived.
They soon dismiss the cries and find an emergency exit door heading towards it. That's when the entity that was making the little girl crying sounds, being a gigantic humanoid entity with disproportional limbs, rushes towards one of the explorers and sweeps them off their feet in one quick motion. The other, in panic, runs towards the exit door, entering a cemented narrow stairwell leading to another set of emergency exit doors. Behind the doors is another level of backrooms, having multiple office drawers where the explorer finds a short double-barrel shotgun. Heading back to the higher level where he encountered the monstrous entity, he shoots it down when all of a sudden he awakens in a park, seemingly outside of the backrooms, confused to where he is. Strange texts then appear on the screen, displaying that it's the good ending and that you escaped, as if treating the situation as a video game. A Morse code is then heard, translating to deceived, bringing the video to an abrupt end. This of course shows that the man who escaped after shooting the entity did in fact awaken in a different level of backrooms, stuck there for eternity. The entity they encountered can be known as a deceiver. As one of the explorers suggested to the other, it was not to get deceived by the crying sounds, and that's exactly what happened at the end where he decided to shoot at the entity, thinking that he would evade and survive it that way, not knowing that the shotgun was deliberately placed there to deceive him into using it. The explorer wakes up in a new world similar to the real world, with birds chirping and real-looking trees, but he clearly recognizes it to be just a mimic. The screen treats it as a game, referring to his fate as a good ending, saying that he escaped, which shows the infinite possibilities in backrooms, where the reality is mangled and twisted, not abiding any rules of the universe. It seems to have mixed up real world and survival with a video game, as Backrooms does at times mimic real world, placing the explorer in another level where it barely resembles any semblance to real world. But how do we know that he didn't in fact escape for real, and what is the proof? There are two obvious pieces of evidence that he just fell right into the trap of the backrooms. The shotgun was conveniently placed for him there, with doors labeled as emergency exit doors. The texts labeled the ending as good ending and that he escaped, something that wouldn't happen in real world. If he would actually escape, he would possibly leave through the gate to the Async facility rather than teleporting right out of the backrooms, something that doesn't typically happen. As seen in the last video, if he did in fact manage to leave the backrooms like the other explorer, no texts would appear treating him like a game subject, but clearly the backrooms is playing with him as a game character. Also, the Morse code at the end suggests that he was deceived, the same word his colleague used to identify the entity as. So he was essentially tricked by the entity. He did exactly what Backrooms wanted him to do, picking up the shotgun and shooting the entity like any FPS shooter game protagonist would do, with them obtaining the good ending.
Where am I?
That's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. It's been your host Star. Until the next video, have a fantastic day.